My name is Mariana Alvarado from Masazul in Las Vegas, Nevada, and today we're gonna make tamales. They remind me of my father and the little town where he was born. We used to go there for the holidays, and we made a bunch of little ones, which are my favorite ones, and we always had them in the fridge or in the freezer, and today I'm gonna teach you how to make them. Tamales are little pockets of masa. Depending on the region in Mexico, they can be made with corn husks or banana leaves. Today we're going to be using non-GMO corn husks. Tamales can be made with different types of masa. Some people buy masa preparada from a market. You can also make your own by nixtamalizing your corn, grinding it, and achieving the coarseness that you want on the masa, as well as using Masa Harina. People can mix different things into the masa. They can mix moles, salsas, spices, vegetables, broths, and today we're going to keep it very simple. Tamales can be savory, sweet, they can be vegan. You can use anything you have actually handy to make them, and they're a project. They're something that we make as a family. Tamales are eaten all year round, but especially during larger parties like weddings or holidays. And you will want to have all your family helping you out. We call this a tamalada, where we can gather and have a bunch of tamales with all of our friends and family. Here's what we're gonna need to make tamales from Masa Harina today. These are our corn husks or hojas, also known as totomostle. Then we have our Masa Harina from Masienda. We have white today, but you can use any color you want. This whole bag will make 50 tamales. Today, we're only using half a bag, which will make 25. We have our salsas, fillings. You can use any filling you want. Baking powder is gonna help us make really fluffy tamales. Salt or sugar, depending if you're making savory or sweet tamales. Our fat, it can be lard, butter, coconut oil if you're making vegan. Our liquid, it can be any type of broth or water. For the fillings today, we have carnitas and chicken with mole. But you can use anything you have in your fridge. If you're pressured with time, you can use rotisserie chicken, mix it with some salsa, or just simple beans and cheese. Let's talk about the equipment you're gonna need. A mixer is really helpful because we usually make a lot of tamales. You can mix them by hand, but I really find it helpful to have a mixer or a hand mixer that will make this process easier. A tamalera is like a big steamer specific for tamales. You can find these in Mexican stores, and it's very helpful because you can put many tamales due to its height. If you don't have a tamalera at home, don't worry about it. There's other options you can use. For example, a pasta pot that has a colander inside, or a vegetable steamer basket to put your tamales on top. Just make sure that you have enough water at the bottom of your pot in order for the tamales to steam. All right, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is soak the hojas. We're going to rinse them first and then soak them with hot water. You can use your faucet with the highest temperature that you can handle. We're going to do these to soften them up because we want to fold them and we don't want them to break. You want to separate them so the water goes in between the husks. Also, it allows you to see all of your husks and the size of them because some of them are a little bit smaller than others. Okay. The first thing we're gonna do is whip our lard. And we always want to start with cold lard. We're going to whip our lard on high until it's light and fluffy and it resembles cake frosting. Introducing air into the fat, it will make our tamales very fluffy and light. Make sure you scrape the sides maybe one time in between to make sure that all your lard is whipped. Okay, it's ready now. This is gonna take you about 5 minutes. You can see how it looks like cake frosting. Don't eat it yet. Then we're gonna add our baking powder. We can mix. At this point, we are done with our whisk and we're gonna change to our paddle attachment. Now we're gonna add our Masa Harina gradually. We're gonna go on low speed. Our next step is going to be to add our liquid. You can add it slowly and achieve the type of masa that you want. I like my masa more wetter just because it's easier to spread, but many recipes call for a little bit of less liquid. It's totally up to you. What the broth does is to hydrate our masa, and it's gonna give us really moist tamales. Your masa should feel easy to spread, you don't want it gritty, and this looks a little thick to me. It's helpful to always keep a little broth on the side just to keep adding until you achieve the perfect texture. Okay. This is the texture that we want to have. Cake batter or hummus is pretty hydrated and it's going to be easy to spread. Now we're going to taste our masa and we're going to add salt. If your broth was salty, you might want to add a little bit less salt, but we recommend 1 teaspoon per 3 cups of Masa Harina. You typically want your masa a little bit less salty than your filling, so you can taste the filling and it can shine on its own. And it's perfect. We're gonna get started with the filling and spreading of the masa. Our husks have been soaked and they're pliable and super soft. Usually they're going to fall naturally this way, and this side is smoother than this side. This is the side you want to use for your masa. Just follow the natural curve of your husks. You want to start with the wider part towards you, which will be this part. I like keeping my husks inside the bowl with water, but some people like having them dry. You can just use a towel and dry them right before you put your filling. I like to use several tools, and you can have anything available at home. Sometimes I like to use a ladle. You can use a regular large spoon or a wooden spoon as well, even a spatula or a bench scraper. This is my favorite spoon, so I'm gonna use this one today. We're gonna use about 2 ounces or 4 tablespoons of masa, and we're gonna go towards the outside of the leaf. We want a thin, even layer throughout the leaf, and we want to leave the narrow end without masa. You can spread it from side to side, whatever makes you feel comfortable. We're gonna start with our filling right now. We have our carnitas. We like to use about 1 ounce or 2 tablespoons of filling. You can use as much as you want, but remember that we don't want to overfill it because it might be difficult to close our tamales. I like to add my salsa on top, just like that. And for closing, so we're gonna go right this way and then fold over again. Then the narrow end can come to the top, and we have our closed tamal. If you have a bench scraper, I'm going to show you how to spread it as well. Remember, you want even layers. We're going to fold this tamal in a different way, which will be a 3-fold, just like this. And you can tie it. Some people like to make a little bow tie around the tamal just to keep the filling inside. You're going to cut a small ribbon per se, and we can tie it around with a little knot. If you have multiple people helping you, one person can spread One can fold, one can do the knot. There's different ways of also making the little knot. Some people like to do it across, all the way on the top. If you're using banana leaves, you can wrap them like a gift. Do not throw away your little corn husks or the broken ones, because we're going to use them to line the bottom of the tamalera or to put them around the handles of our pot. I'm going to show you how we're going to fill our tamalera with tamales. First thing, add water. Tamaleras come with this little plate that has some holes so the steam of the water can go through. There's a trick I want to teach you. Use a coin and put it in. Once the water is boiling, our coin is going to rattle. If your water runs out, you're going to stop hearing the rattling of the coin. So you want to add more water because we don't want that burn smelling to our tamales. Some people like to add a couple of corn husks just to line the bottom of our tamalera, just like so. Now we're going to add the tamales inside the tamalera. You're going to hold them right this way, upwards, and the folded part of your corn husk, try to put it around the edges of your pot so it doesn't fold back out when it's steaming. We're gonna go all around first, and then we're gonna work our way towards the center. Sometimes I like to put a knot on them when there is a special filling, let's say for the kiddos without spicy salsa. This one is without spicy salsa, so okay. Once you're done with your tamales, we're gonna cover it. And because we like to talk all the gossip or chisme, we're gonna put these little ribbons around the handles to cover the ears of our pot. And lastly, a lot of people like to bless the pot, la bendición. Our tamales are ready to cook. When you're ready to cook your tamales, bring water to a boil and then lower the temperature to medium heat and let them steam for 75 minutes. Our pork tamales are ready. They have been steaming for 75 minutes. We're gonna check that they're done. And be careful because they're super hot. There we go. How do you know when your tamales are ready? The masa is going to pull away from the corn husk and they're gonna be firm to the touch. We're gonna let our tamales rest for about 10 minutes before opening them up. Also remember that our tamales are gonna firm up as they cool down. If your tamales are not done, you can put them back for another 10 to 15 minutes to steam. You will know that they're not done because the masa will be runny and then it will be sticking to our corn husk. We are going to open this up. I like to add a little bit of raw onion on top and some fresh cilantro and a little bit more salsa. You just add extra flavor and juiciness to your tamales. So good. Yes.